Okay, hi everybody. I'm going to record another video for you today, and this one is going to be a stretch sequence for runners. So I have to tell you, I love running. I love running just as much as I love practicing yoga. What I don't like about running is short, tight muscles and risk of injury as a result of a lot of repetitive action and a lot of high impact. But what I found over the years is that running and yoga are so mutually beneficial. They really, really complement each other, which maybe if you do one and not the other, you might not realize, but they really both support each other. So yoga taught me to breathe. So when I started to run and it's getting challenging, you know from yoga to focus on your breath, and you know the breath will get you through the challenging part, and so it does. Similarly, with running, of course, the cardiovascular benefit and the fitness benefit. And if you've done any of my videos that I like a very fitness-oriented style of yoga. So running gave me the sort of cardiovascular fitness to manage a very, very energetic type of yoga practice that I like. And of course, yoga keeps the muscles long and lean and healthy, and helps us avoid injuries. So, if you're full into any sport, whether it's running or yoga or anything else, you know that injury is really, really inconvenient. You don't want to be out of your thing for too long. So I just love that yoga gives me some balance and keeps my muscles healthy so that I can continue doing everything I love to do. Anyway, that's a lot of talk. So I know that some folks that only run are against yoga, and they don't want to do yoga, and that's okay. So we're not going to do a yoga practice today. I'm just showing you some stretches that might have come from yoga originally, but are really, really great if you run or do any other kind of exercise. It's just a super balance. So we're not even going to do one single sun salutation, maybe not even a downward facing dog, okay? So we're going to start on our mats. And also I just would say this is actually the sequence that I do after I run. I run like 3 times a week. One of those is usually a 10K, and I do this sequence after I run every time. And I also do this sequence if I'm really, really tired and I actually don't feel up to a full yoga practice. I'll just do this. And that kind of usually sorts me out. Okay, so let's come on to all fours. We're actually going to start in a lunge. So if you step your right leg forward, fingertips to the floor, tummies are in tight, and you can just lift that back knee up so that you start in a full lunge. So if this is too intense, remember the modified version is just a kneeling lunge. Okay, you're still getting a super stretch here through the hip flexor and through the quads, which, as you know, get very, very tight if you do a lot of running or general impactful exercise. Okay, so we'll just spend a few moments here in this lunge, either kneeling or full. Engage the abdominals. So all the time, keep the tummies in nice and tight. This is good training for running as well. So you'll find if you engage your abdominals while you're running, it helps you endure. It helps you go for longer, and it helps you breathe. And it also helps support the back as you're doing whatever it is you're doing. All right, so try lifting up a little bit through the pelvis, even as you lengthen through this hip flexor here. Okay, and also in a lunge, remember you want to make sure that your knee is above your ankle or a bit behind it. You don't want the knee out over the toes. That puts way too much pressure on your knees, and you don't need more pressure on your knees, right? Okay, good. So let's have one more big breath in here, and then we're going to all take the back knee down, whether it was down before or not. And we're going to bring the upper body off that front leg, and we're going to take a big breath in right here. So as you're here, again, watch this front knee over the heel or behind it. See this big angle here on my back leg? So I'm not teetering on my back kneecap, and this is all very unstable and unbalanced. So you want to have taken that back leg pretty far back so that when you lower your knee down, you have a nice long angle here, okay? And then you can very gently begin to press your hips forward. You don't need to press them down to the ground. Think about pressing them forward. So for more of a hip flexor and more of a quad stretch here as well. All right, let's take a big breath in and inhale, reach up tall. If you are very warm already, so that you've run already and this is your post-run stretch, you can, and if you're comfortable with back bends, you can think about inhaling, lengthening through the spine even more. And then as you exhale, you can open up the chest and take it into a back bend or not. You can just stay there, reaching up tall. So you really want to create a lot of space in the spine. You know, as we run, we might get a little crunched over, especially if you go for a long time. So think about creating space through the spine and opening up through the chest. All the time breathing, right? Never holding your breath. So let's take another deep inhale here. If you like, you can exhale into a back bend. And then as we exhale, our fingertips are going to come down. Let's bring them both over to the left side of this front foot. And then we're going to bend through the elbows. So start bending the elbows. It doesn't matter how far you get, but you might be able to get the forearms down towards the ground. You could have a block here or a bolster or a rolled up mat for extra support. And this is lizard pose. So this is great for opening up the hips, which as we know get very, very tight as we run, or even power walking. If you do a lot of walking or power walking, the same areas are going to get tight. Okay, so tummies in nice and tight. So you're pressing down through the hips, you have your elbows bent and you're pressing your chest towards the mat, but all the time still keep the torso and upper body long. Good, and if you're comfortable there, you can begin to walk the hands forward. That's even more extended into lizard pose. See, yoga pose names for running stretches. Okay, and you can even let your right knee open a bit more. Your foot can even turn up so that you can see the sole of your foot. Okay, if you like, you can put your left hand on the mat and you can turn towards your right leg and even push the thigh away a bit. Okay, so that's even more hip opening. With each stretch, just take it to your point of tightness. So you'll feel your tightness in your muscles wherever they are, and you want to stay there and breathe, okay? You never overextend through a stretch. Never fight a stretch, because when you lose that battle, that's an injury, okay? So coming on back to our kneeling lunge, we're going to shift our hips backwards and flex up through the front leg. So now the front leg is straightened out. You can pick that foot up and take it further if you need to take it further away. So this leg is straightened out, but if this leg starts to shake, if it starts to tremble, it means you're stretching that muscle just a little too far and you need to back off. So you can back off by bending that leg. Okay, so this might be your stretch. And so obviously, as you've realized by now, this is a very deep hamstring stretch. So this is a very good preparation pose for the splits. Many seasoned yogis are still working on doing the splits. It's not for everybody. But this is called half splits, and this is an excellent stretch for the hamstrings. So what I like to do in a very intense pose is breathe there for quite a while. So I like to inhale, lengthen through the upper body, lift the chest, and exhale, sink the upper body back down towards that leg. Abdominals engaged all the time. Inhale, lengthen up, and exhale, sink back down a bit. So once you're comfortable in the stretch, flex through your front leg. That extends the stretch a little bit more. There's always somewhere further you can take the stretch. So even as your flexibility increases over time, there's usually somewhere a little further you can take it, just to make sure you're continuing to progress. Let's inhale and lengthen, and exhale, drop the upper body down a bit. And one more time, inhale and lengthen, and exhale and release down. Good, so from there we're going to bend the front knee again. You can use your fingertips as support. And we're going to walk this right foot over to the left edge of the mat and lower the outside of that leg down to the mat. So this is pigeon pose. If you're very tight in your hips, you will find that it's more comfortable to bring this right leg in really close to the body. So just tuck it in, bend that leg, tuck it in, and bring it in close to the body. All right, if you're more flexible, as in your hips are not quite as tight, you might find that you can take that foot further away from the body. even maybe at a right angle. And then, so just find the position that works best for you. So you see how I'm here sort of slouching on my right hip? What we're gonna do is bring our hands to the mat. We're gonna lift our hips up off the mat and square your left hip flexor towards the mat, and then sink down again, okay? And then stay with the hips square to the mat. And you probably realize that that is a really deep stretch on your outer right hip. So we really try and target the hips. It's not just the quads and the hamstrings, the leg muscles, that we need to work on after we run, but we need to work on the hips and the lower back, all the areas that will store tension, okay? So let's breathe here like we did in the half splits. So inhale, lengthen through the upper body, and exhale, reach forward as you come down. So inhale, come on up, and exhale, fold down. Big deep breaths. Inhale, come on up, and exhale, fold down. And one more time. Inhale, come on up, and exhale, fold down. So let's inhale, come back up to sitting up. You might be comfortable just leaving the legs where they are, inhaling and reaching up tall. Again, inhale, if you can, reach the arms up. If you need the arms still down for support, that's fine too. You can still continue to lengthen through the upper body, okay? So inhale, lengthen through the spine, reach the sternum up towards the ceiling. And then exhale again. This is a nice spot for a back bend if you're comfortable with back bends. Good, so we're gonna release those arms down. So from here, we're gonna all bring this front leg close into the body. So if it had been further out in the pigeon pose, everybody bring it back close in. And now you're gonna look at your back leg, so turn to your left. Look at your back leg, it should be straight back, not so much out to the side, right? Straight back behind you. You can begin, for a very deep quad stretch, to bend up this back leg. So at this point, you might be gripped by a serious hamstring cramp, in which case release that leg. Okay, but in time, if you can't practice this frequently, you'll be able to do this without the hamstring cramping, and it's a super intense quad stretch, okay? Super intense quad stretch. So just bring this leg in as close or as far as you're comfortable. If all you can do is just catch it and leave it there, that's fine too. You're still stretching your quads, okay? I have to bring it in here to stretch my quad, all right? But you have to just work with your body wherever it is, okay? And then once you're getting your quad stretch, try facing the body back to the front. And you might find then that increases your quad stretch again. Good. So another pigeon pose variation with a really, really deep quad stretch. Good. So breathe there for a few deep breaths. And then when you're ready, exhale. So we're all going to turn to the left now, keeping this right leg in towards the body. Left leg is extended. We're going to just reach the left hand along that left leg. We're going to inhale, reach up. The right arm, reach it up, and then over to the side. So parallel with that straight leg. So when we're doing a side stretch like this, we want to keep the top shoulder open so that the side of the body is, facing forward. So we're getting a nice deep stretch all the way through the obliques here on the right side. Again, with the crunched up running, if you're going too long and struggling a bit, you contract through the chest and everything gets crunchy. So it's nice afterwards when you're stretching to open up the chest again. Okay, encourage the lungs to open up, encourage the heart to open up, and get great deep stretches through the obliques here as well. So if you want to open more, it's nice to cactus this arm. That means bend this top arm at a right angle and then reach it again. All the time, so cactusing the arm encourages you to keep the chest open. Okay, one more time and reach. So let's all inhale here. We're going to release a bit. We're going to turn so that both hands are on the floor alongside our long leg. And as we exhale, we're going to fold forward. So now we're folding forward with the sternum, the middle of the chest, and we're trying to line up the middle of the chest with this front leg. So you're really turning the body to the left, so we're getting a bit of a twist through the torso. So on each inhale, lengthen through your upper body. And then as you exhale, fold forward. And inhale, lengthen. And exhale, fold forward. So little by little, you might find you go further. And that's the way Not that flexibility is the be all and end all, but that is the way to increase or improve your flexibility with your breath, okay? So working along your edge, that's your point of tightness in your muscle, and breathing through it. So inhale, lengthen, exhale, sink into it. And over time, with a lot of practice, you will find that your flexibility improves. So one of the things I love about yoga is how quickly you see improvements. If you're dedicated to your practice and you practice often, you will see your flexibility improve pretty quickly, I've found. So inhale, let's lengthen here one more time, and exhale, fold towards that leg one more time. Good, and then release up. We're gonna come down to rest on our right elbow, and we're gonna lift that long leg up and catch the foot. So we're gonna stretch through the quads now. So you're gonna point your knee down, back and away from you, and you're gonna press that top hip, your left hip flexor forward. So you're getting a lovely stretch now through the left side of the body, running from the quads, all the way up through the quads, through the hip flexor, up through the obliques on the left side. So keep the torso long and keep that knee pressing a little bit back so that you're lengthening through that quad just as much as you can. And again, let's stay here and breathe a few breaths. Good, and we'll release that leg. So as we release that leg, we lift it up and cross it over our bottom leg. So now the left knee is up, and we're going to inhale, sit tall. And as we exhale, we're going to turn to the left. So you can let your left hand come behind you, your right hand can hold onto this top knee, or your elbow can wedge on the top knee, however you're comfortable. Inhale, sit tall, lengthen through the back, and then exhale, turn to your left. I don't know if you guys heard it, but my back just cracked all the way up. So when we are twisting, it's very important to lengthen through the spine first, okay? So that's why I say inhale, sit tall, and then exhale and twist. So you don't want to twist through a crunched up spine. That's not healthy. What you want to do is lengthen the spine first and then twist. And don't force it, okay? It doesn't matter how far you twist, as long as you're lengthening through your muscles, okay? Inhale, lengthen one more time, and exhale and twist. So a really nice way to ease out tension through the lower back created during running. So now we're going to do the other side, and magically the left leg is in front. So we step back into our full lunge with the left leg in front this time, okay? So remember, if this full lunge is not comfortable on this side, it's just too intense, maybe your back leg is shaking already, let that back knee down. So remember the big angle, you're still stretching through the great stretch through the quads and the hip flexor. So do whatever you're comfortable with, okay? So if you're in this full lunge, remember, engage through the pelvis. You don't want to be dropping down too much. Engage through the pelvis and think about lengthening rather than pressing down towards the ground, okay? So inhale, let's push the back heel back, good, nice long back leg. And then exhale, we'll all bring that back knee down. And if you're comfortable sitting up a bit, come and sit up. Let your hands rest on your front thigh. If that's not possible, you can keep your hands on the ground, that's fine too, okay? Let's inhale, lengthen through the upper body here. Reach the arms up if you're good with that. Inhale, lengthen through the upper body, open the chest. Exhale, add a back bend if you're comfortable with that. Inhale one more time, lengthen through the torso, whichever position you're in. Lengthen through your upper body, reach the chest up. And exhale, bring those hands down. So hands coming to the right side now, into our lizard pose. So starting off by bending through the elbows. So remember, each time you inhale, lengthen through your upper body. And then as you exhale, you can bend your elbows to wherever they bend to. Okay? Walk your hands forward. If you're comfortable walking the hands forward in lizard pose, you feel even more of a stretch through that outer right hip. So reach, reach, reach just as long as you can. And all the time, remember conscious breathing. This is one of the wonderful benefits of yoga, teaching us how to breathe. So when your breath gets short and choppy, you're not getting the benefits of the pose or the run or whatever it is you're doing. You need to fill the lungs with oxygen so that the oxygen can get out to the muscles, right? So deep, slow breaths. So if you're doing this sequence after a run, nice, deep, slow breaths to recover, right? One more time, big breath in, and exhale, relax down. Good, so you can also, I forgot, you can also let this left thigh drop open to the left side and even have the sole of your foot turn up for even more great stretch on that outer hip on the left side. So you can have your left hand press against that thigh, open up to the left. Just another opportunity to open up through the chest. One more big breath in here. And exhale, we can release the hands to the mat. Bring that foot back down to the mat. We're gonna press up, so shift the hips backwards, lengthen through this front leg and flex this front foot. So I tend to do like this with my back foot, go up on the toe of my back foot for more stability. Remember, if this leg has started to tremble, bend this front knee a bit, okay? And always, actually, when I'm stretching my hamstrings, I always have a little micro bend in this knee. You might not see it. It might look like my leg is straight, but I always have a little micro bend to protect that hamstring, okay? So let's inhale, lengthen right here, reach forward with the sternum. And exhale, sink the upper body down towards that leg a bit. Abdominals engaged always. And again, inhale and lengthen. And exhale and fold. And one more time, inhale and lengthen. And exhale and fold. Good, so from there we're gonna shift forward. We're gonna bring this front foot across to the right, across in front of us. So taking it into our pigeon pose. So remember, you're gonna be different on each side. So if this side is tighter, the hips are tighter in this pigeon pose, you can bring this left foot in nice and close to the body. If this side is looser on you, you can have the lower part of the left leg sort of parallel with the front of your mat. So it's a little bit like a right angle with the leg. All right, so fingertips on the mat, let's lift the hips up, square the right hip to the mat, and then lower the hips down again. And then we can bring our hands in front, and we can walk those hands forward in pigeon pose. So as you fold forward, you feel that stretch even more through the outside of the left hip. So this is literally called runner's stretch also. In yoga we call it pigeon pose, but it's also traditionally called runner's stretch because we know that our hips get so tight. And this is a great way to release that tension. So let's inhale, lengthen right here wherever you are, and exhale and release. And if you're comfortable staying here for another breath, inhale, reach out the arms, open up the chest again. And exhale, a little back bend if you like. And inhale, come on down. So this time again, let's all tuck this leg in nice and close to the body. And this is where we're gonna look behind us. Check that back leg was straight out behind us. Bend that back leg up, and if you can, catch your foot with your right hand. Okay, and slowly bring that leg in towards the body. So again, intense quad stretch here and potential for hamstrings cramping. All right, so you're different on each side. Maybe the other side was no problem and this side cramps. That's okay, just release it. With practice, you will be able to do this eventually, okay? And again, as I said, it doesn't matter how close in you're bringing this leg. Once you feel your very deep quad stretch right here, or right there, or right there, whatever works for you, okay? You have to get your stretch with your body. All right, so sweet quad stretch. I actually ran this morning, so this is all feeling super sweet for me. So let's release that leg. We're gonna turn to the right side. So the right leg is extended. I'm gonna just turn so I'm not backing you. So the right leg is extended now, the left leg is tucked in. So we're gonna have the right arm release along that bottom leg, and the left arm reaches up and over to the side. So for right now, the chest is open. Remember, cactus that top arm to open that chest even more. And then reach that arm long because we're stretching the obliques. Okay? So inhale, open the chest. Exhale, lengthen the arm. And one more time. Inhale, cactus that arm. and exhale, reach long. Good, then we'll let the upper body come up, and then we'll turn the body to face our extended leg. Inhale, lengthen the upper body, and exhale, fold forward. So you might be able to grab this foot, you might be able to grab the calf. We try to stay away from grabbing joints, because that's not so stable. But if you can grab something solid like a calf or a foot, then go ahead. It's nice to use that for a bit of leverage, so you can inhale, lengthen the upper body, and exhale, fold. Again, your point of tightness, if the muscles start to shake, you've gone a little too far, you need to back off and breathe there. Okay? Inhale, lengthen. That's called working your edge. Exhale, fold forward. And one more time. Inhale and lengthen. And exhale and fold. Good. We're going to walk the upper body up. We're going to take it down onto our left elbow now. Lifting up your right foot. Grabbing the foot with the right hand. And so this is where we're pointing the knee a little back and away from us. Lengthening through the upper body, pressing the right hip forward. So you have a long line of stretch going from your right knee up through your quads, through your hip flexor, through your obliques, and up to your right shoulder. So a few deep breaths here. And then when you're ready, release that leg. So we're going to take it all the way over the front knee. We're going to inhale, sit nice and tall. And as we exhale, let the right hand come behind you this time. The left hand can hold on to this front leg, or you can have your left elbow wedged on the outside of that thigh. Your choice, it doesn't matter once you're feeling the twist. Remember, inhale, sit nice and tall. And then exhale, turn to your right, and that's your twist. Inhale, lengthen, and exhale, twist. Twists are so great. They sort of give the internal organs in the torso a nice little massage, encouraging them all to do their jobs and squeezing toxins out of the body. So I know when we run, we sweat a lot and we're getting rid of the toxins, right? So as we stretch afterwards, we're just finishing the job. So let's inhale, lengthen one more time, and exhale and twist. Good, let's release the hands to the front. We're gonna open the legs up wide. So sort of straddle splits. Does not matter how wide these legs go, okay? However is comfortable for you. So if your legs start going like that, just bring them in a bit, okay? That's your straddle splits. This could be your straddle splits. That's absolutely fine. You have to work with your own body, okay? And your body will tell you what is right and what is not. So don't think you're ever doing the pose wrong. It's only correct for your body. So anyway, so you open your legs to wherever they're comfortable and they're not trembling, all right? Let's bring the hands in front. Let's inhale, sit nice and tall. And exhale, let's slowly begin to fold forward. So again, it does not matter how far forward you get. This might be it. And that's fine. So once you're feeling this stretch in the hip, in the hamstrings and the inner thighs now, of course, just hold the stretch there and breathe. That's called your point of tightness or your edge, and you breathe there, okay? So you inhale, lengthen, think of creating space everywhere in the body that you can. So as you inhale, maybe push the heels long and lengthen through the upper body. And then as you exhale, you can maybe bend the elbows a little millimeter, maybe a little more, okay? But just work with your body. If you find you're getting farther and you can rest your elbows down, great. It's nice to actually find a space where you can rest the elbows down, even if you have to put, say, blankets or other mats in front of you. It's just nice to then be able to relax the upper body a bit and concentrate on the legs. So still concentrate on lengthening through those legs as you inhale. So push the heels away, press the heels away, press the feet away. Inhale and lengthen. And then exhale, maybe bend the elbows a little bit more. So just take it to your point. Again, if you have blankets or bolsters or rolled up mats in front of you, it's just really nice to be able to rest the head, the neck, and the shoulders and spend some time just breathing in this pose, okay? It's releasing tension through the hips, and it's a great stretch for the inner thighs and of course for the hamstrings. So if you can find a point where you can actually rest in this pose for a while, that's awesome. Of course, you can take longer to do all of these poses. You can spend longer in all of these poses. So butterfly pose now. So bring the soles of the feet together, inhale, sit tall, and then exhale with the abdominals engaged, holding onto your shins or your feet. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, folding forward, reaching with the sternum, okay? So you notice we're not folding forward, trying to get our foreheads to the floor. That's irrelevant. Before we fold forward, we inhale and lengthen through the upper body. And then as we exhale and fold forward, we lead with the sternum. So you're keeping the head lifted. We're not trying to get the forehead to the floor, okay? We're trying to create space in the body and just lengthen the muscles as much as we can. It doesn't matter how far we go. All right, inhale one more time. And exhale. This is a really nice stretch for the back. Just really great way to release tension through the lower back, which is, if you run a lot, you might notice that you build up some tension in the lower back. So when you're done with that, again, all of these poses, you can spend more time there if you have more time, okay? One more hamstring stretch and a twist for the back to finish us off. So I like to take it down to the mat by sitting up tall with my hands behind my thighs, and I inhale and sit tall, and I exhale and round my back. And I'll stay here for quite a few breaths, just relaxing through the back. This is great any time of day. So any of these stretches can be done any time of day. It doesn't have to be only after you run. As I said, this is what I do if I just don't have the energy for anything else. Okay, and exhale. So one more time, we'll inhale, sit tall, and then we'll exhale and round the back and slowly, slowly roll down onto your mat and give the legs a hug. So this is like a reclined child's pose, and it's really nice for releasing out tension through your back. You can even take the knees away from you and draw a little circle in the air with the knees, and that is a little sort of massage for your lower back. And then you can do it the other side as well. All right, so one more hamstring stretch. Let's let the right foot down. We're going to extend the left leg. So if you can go ahead and extend your right leg all the way down. If you need to keep it bent, that's fine. So now the left leg is extended. All right, so take it far away from you and try and straighten it first, okay? So you might start to wobble, you might start to tremble, and in which case take it a little further away. Okay, over time, you can hold on to wherever you can reach, whether it's your thigh or your calf or your foot. And each time you inhale, lengthen through that leg. So you're feeling an intense stretch through your hamstring. And it's very intense because when you run, you're really tightening up the hamstrings, okay? So this is a super intense stretch for anybody who runs or does a lot of walking. So take it slow, do not fight with your hamstring, because if you lose the fight with your hamstring, that is an injury, and that means you can't run and you can't yoga, and that just sucks. Okay, so breathe into it and be gentle with that hamstring. Let your hamstring guide the way. So each time you inhale, lengthen. If it means you need to take it away, take it away. And then as you exhale, maybe it might come in an inch closer. Maybe not, okay? Just hold it and breathe at your point of tightness, okay? So hold on wherever you can, whether it's your thigh or your calf or your foot or a combination of that, and breathe there. So inhale, lengthen, exhale, gently pull it in towards the body if it has that space to go. Okay, but if you don't have that space to go, then don't. So this could be your hamstring stretch, and that is absolutely fine. Okay, you have to work with your own body. So one more breath wherever you are, and exhale, let's release that leg. You can bend it in, give it a little hug, and then put that foot down and bring the other one up. So extend the left leg or keep it bent, whatever you prefer, and then extend through your right leg. Okay, and then start your little hamstring stretch process. So inhale, lengthen through the leg first. Exhale, maybe bring it a bit towards the body. Inhale and lengthen, and exhale, bring it in. So you probably will find that one leg is more flexible than the other. So be careful not to go too far with the one that seems more flexible, okay? Still be conscious of that stretch and how it is feeling. Okay, inhale, lengthen one more time, and exhale, stretch deeply one more time. Good, let's bend both legs, give them a little hug. And we're going to cross the left leg over the right, let the arms stretch out long to the side. And slowly, slowly, with the abdominals engaged, you can drop both legs over to your left side. And let your left hand rest on top of those legs. Let your right shoulder and right arm reach away, and let the head drop over to the right side. So abdominals engaged as we do these twists to support the back always. So before you come back up, uncross the legs and just kind of like windshield them back up to the center. And then cross the other way. So cross the right leg over the left, abdominals engaged, arms are wide, and slowly drop both legs over to the right side. You can let your right hand rest on those legs, and the left shoulder, left arm reaches long, head drops over to the left. Tummy's in nice and tight. One more twist to get rid of those toxins, massage out the internal organs, and ease out any remaining back tension. Good, we'll come uncross the legs before we come back up to the center. Take the legs long, reach the arms long. Take a big breath in and reach the body as long, like grow like 5 inches. So point the toes, reach the fingertips just as long as you can, tummy's in tight. And exhale, let everything relax down into the ground. So that is my post-run stretch, okay? So that's what I do to keep all the muscles healthy, keep the joints healthy and mobile, and avoid injury. So you can speed it up. I did a lot of talking. But you know, you could learn that routine and speed it up, or of course you could slow it down for a nice, really gentle, yin, regenerative, recuperative kind of practice any old day of the week. Okay? So thanks for joining me, a little yogic namaste, and happy running. Stay healthy.